And now I'd like to invite Mr. Tamal Chatterjee. Sir, can you put some light on Mr. S.D. Kar
Yes,
and the book, of course?
1 minute, please. Before that, I would like to make an appeal to everybody and inform that today's book launch event on Sip and Talk with Vikram is a unique event because it is being simultaneously live casted on YouTube as well. And we have got audience watching it through YouTube as well at the same time as we are conducting the program here. So those who are on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified. We keep bringing in meaningful content for you, which is food for thought, and it's absolutely an edutainment channel par excellence. So please stay on with us till the end. We'll have prizes to win. We'll have question answers. We'll get to know a lot, learn a lot together. Be with us throughout the evening. Thank you so much. And now we'll bring in Mr. Tamal Chatterjee.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A very warm. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. So a very warm namaskar to all of you this evening. Special thanks to Mr. Khaitan and Mr. Lahiri for conducting this so beautifully. I am thoroughly enjoying it. Now, since I am relatively fresh to this gamut of extraordinary people that is there this evening, I would just take a moment to introduce myself, which is of little consequence here, but yet. My name is Tamal Chatterjee. After about 1 score years in the corporate world, I, along with a friend, started a startup in Odisha last year. We are basically into promoting entrepreneurship in the rural areas, primarily sub 3,000 population villages, where we are taking digitization and services over a digital platform. Now, that is the draft part. Now, let's put into perspective how I belong here. SD and I have known each other for several years now. Like you were saying, we used to work together again in the core rural space for several years. We have worked together, we have exchanged thoughts and ideas. I always knew that he loved dabbling in literature. But yes, once he came out with his first book, which I think was Thank You, IR, his first book. It was a beautiful and a very simple piece, kind of a whiff of fresh air after long, I, unfortunately, am not a writer. I am sitting on the other side of the table. I am the common man, the common reader, and probably your worst critic. So, and to top that, to make things worse, I am Bengali. So as happens in most Bengali families, we are exposed to a whole host of literature since our childhood. So from Bankim Chandra and Sharat Chandra to Premchand to Dan Brown, Enid Blyton, anyone under the sun, you name them, we probably have them on our bookshelves. And exactly the reason that so like I said that like I keep telling SD also, once he brought the plot to me and we were discussing it. Now thankfully SD has given me a lot of credit as to being his go-to guy and things like that. I wish I could give more time to him. Unfortunately, I am a little stuck up with the material world throughout the day, but thankfully both SD and I are nocturnal creatures. So we kind of discuss all these things till about midnight and things like that. And we have our late night sessions. And once he discussed this plot with me, he was bouncing this idea off me and he came out with the title. I instantly knew that we probably had a bestseller material on our hands. You know, the very fact, I won't get into deeper details as to what is good about this book. There are stalwarts on this panel who already have read this book and they know what are the good things about this book. A couple of good things about the book that I think should actually be promoted and should be brought to light are the facts that none of the subplots seem unnecessary. One thing. So they are beautifully interwoven. None of the subplots drag beyond the point of interest. So they keep the interest alive within the readers till the last page. And another thing that I think is very important, and most importantly, is that there is no unnecessarily heroics in the entire listing. It is all very believable. It is not a hero jumping out of a window with a blazing AK-47 in his hands kind of a thing, So it is very believable. You can almost relate to it. And after you have finished the book, you don't stare at the ceiling and think that can this really happen. It actually comes to you as if like, yeah, this is normal. This can happen. A situation like this can arise. We are living in a world where a situation like this can arise. And as SD has named this book very potently, Buriganga is a very strong imagery that he has used here, because Buriganga, like you would know, all of you would know, is the, let's say, the spine of civilization in Bangladesh. That is the river around which the city of Dhaka grew up or was built, and eventually modern civilization. It was a hotbed for modern civilization and things like that. Now, unfortunately, over the years, we have read a lot about it. Unfortunately, over the years, due to this pollution and concerns like that, the river is known to be dying. And yet, there are a lot of activist groups that are working towards cleaning the river up, keeping it alive, and ensuring that there is a source of water or the source of life, so to say, for the people in Dhaka and in Bangladesh through Buriganga. So, exactly, that is exactly what happens in this book, that beyond all odds, there is a person who travels from India to investigate the murder of a dear friend and unearths darker secrets out there. And there's a lot of oppression. There are a lot of hurdles and roadblocks that the protagonist Adesha faces throughout the journey of the book. And yet, even at times when the plot seems to be dying, and there seems to be a dead end and the reader actually starts thinking that will justice ever be served, even in a situation like that, there is a ray of hope, and at end justice prevails. And not really in a dramatic kind of a way, but in a very acceptable, like I was saying, in a very acceptable and a very realistic kind of a way. So kudos to SD. You have done a fantastic job. Your last book was very refreshing, and I think this time you have surpassed yourself. And trust me, I'm looking forward to your next one. There are very few readers, there are very few authors that I follow. I mean, with every book that they come out with. I probably miss a few, but then there are few authors around who I follow with every book they come out with. And you definitely are going to be on that list. So any book that you come out with, please count me in. I'm going to be one of your foremost readers, and probably one of your, okay, to put it mildly, one of your toughest critics too. Having said that, once again, SD, beautiful job, the way you have connected the two nations, the way you have brought out the kind of undercurrent, the kind of, let's say, the crimes that happen behind the scenes in our neighboring country, not really making it political, so to say, and keeping it realistic and human is commendable. So congratulations on this book launch. I hope that millions of people read this. And as Tripathi sir said, I would love to see it on 70mm someday. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee. That was indeed very refreshing how you said.
Thank you.
Sir, like I'd like to, I cannot stop myself from, underlining whatever you had said. Definitely, Buriganga is a very, apt title for this book, because as you rightly said, Buriganga, is the backbone of civilization in Bangladesh. And, Buriganga is a sort of identity for some parts of Bangladesh, which are prime. Like we call Ganga, there is Buriganga. And the Buriganga is supposed to keep people safe from all kinds of, that is mythology. But here, Buriganga itself is in trouble because there are muffled screams around it. In fact, talking about SD Karsa, you will agree with me that I have found reading his books that he is an author who is a fusion between Sidney Sheldon and Dan Brown. And this is the book, Inferno. After reading it, I found that the way the book moves and this book, Buriganga and this, are almost the same. Kudos to SD for doing that. And, we have a doctor with us. Before that, Mr. SD Kar, do we have Mr. Rotho with us? Rotho Saab Ochunti?
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
We have.
May I have a few words from Rotho sir, please?
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations, Sthitaprajna. He's been a younger brother, a friend, and we've been discussing so many things. But I would never have known that he would be such a wonderful writer and author. And but at the same time, I must say I have not read the entire book. Not because I did not want to. I was presented this book by Kunal, and my elder brother, who's actually a voracious reader, he had come home from Bombay. So I could not stop myself from presenting him the book. And every time he was reading the book and he was discussing with us during the lockdown, he would say, "This is one book. Once I started, I could not put it down." So that shows that we have very few books, even by the greatest authors. You sometimes have this gap or you don't want to keep on reading. I've read this book in a bit of fits and starts, but what is the best part, like Kunal said, that thinking in Odia mostly and writing in English and trying to recreate a plot in English writing is a tough part. But I think the toughest challenge which SD has taken, he could have easily made this plot in Odisha because he's been staying here for so long and understands the culture, the heritage. But he took this challenge of basing it in Bangladesh and took a different scene altogether. So that shows you need to have the courage. It's not necessary that because we are in Odisha, we have to write only things which are based on Odisha. We can always and we should sometimes in our career. So I think this is the best thing which he has done. An amazing title of the book. And so I was showing it to my son, and he also reads a little more than me, and he was saying, "I think this is going to be a horror story." I said, "Let's see how it's going to go." So that keeps people guessing also. Very important, the title of the book should raise that kind of curiosity also. So I think he's done everything well, and this should be another stepping stone for him to become one of India's greatest English writers. So all the best to you.
Thank you, Sanu. Can I call you that? Can I call you that?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Sanubhai, for a wonderful insight of the book. And thank you, everybody. It was, I think, we all have, Sama Bandh diya hai Sham ka. I can say that. And wonderfully explained by Mr. Kamal Chatterjee also, and of course, Mr. Kunal Tripathi, and now Sanubhai. And now we move on to a doctor who is Dil Ka Doctor, Mr. Bolder. That is a crime, calling a doctor Mr. So, without committing the crime, once again, calling Dr. Anand Ahuja, please, to talk about the book and the author. Dr. Anand Ahuja is a cardiologist by profession, but a wonderful writer of short stories and poems. His passion is romance, writing romantic novels, romantic poetry. Savere dil cheerte hain, sham ko dil jeette hain. Dr. Ahuja, please.
क्या बात है?
And no one can beat you, STL sir. And now no one can beat SD Kar sir also. I just am amazed. I tell you honestly, I had not read the book, but now I completely read the book and I'm just completely in love with this book. Friends, I can tell you that, this book moves so fast. There's just one bad thing about the book, and it is that it ends, and it ends very you want more from that. And, there is a good scope for sequel. He left those manuscripts in the Jagannath. I won't reveal the secrets, but then there's always a good scope. Most of the stories, most of the memorable stories, most of the immortal stories, take up the great classics, say Monte Cristo or David Copperfield, Oliver Twist, they all become classics and they become immortal because of their characters. The characters are so much relatable and you feel for the character. And that is what you feel here in this book. I did not know what Buriganga was. I knew about the Padma and the Meghna rivers, but I was not aware. I confess my ignorance. But I was so intrigued and I was so hooked up to the book that, I ended up doing a lot of research on Wikipedia, and I read up about Buriganga and read out that even Mughals had made Dhaka their dynasty. And I read about the Afghan invasion of Bangladesh and their dynasties. And I just completely got carried away this thing. And talking about the characters, I remember the characters well. I can feel what Adyasha would feel. I can feel, what would be going on in Suha's point of view, or Bandana, or Jamshed, or even Muawar, or Sazia. All the characters, the temple priest, every single one, even Sita, even Amira for that matter. So, I completely associate with all of them, and everyone has a very, very connecting a backstory which makes them do what they do and behave the way they do. And that is something which he has, SD has evolved very, very beautifully. I can realize that, he's done a lot of hard work, not only in researching about the background of the story, about the contents and about the places, because he confesses that he has never been to Bangladesh, but the authority with which he writes, it seems as if he's always lived in Bangladesh. He relates to small things. He describes the streets, he describes the hotel avenues and the places and the way people think and behave in public life in Bangladesh. Absolutely amazing. I could actually feel myself, having a virtual tour along with the story in the same places like, say, Jagannath Pura or Dhaka, everywhere that the story went. I'm completely amazed, and I feel that, it's a strong, unput downable book, because I read it in one go, and I feel everyone would love it and would not put it down. So just a word of caution that, when you pick a book, make sure that you don't have any other engagements, because you're not going to fulfill any of them until you completed the book. So that is what I feel, and everyone must strongly go out and read this book. I also love the small not disclaimer, I would say, when he gives gratitude to everyone in the line, he also expresses his gratitude to the person who killed and ate the bat. And I found that thing very, very interesting. So he's got a very good sense of humor, and he puts that across. I completely love this book, and I'm sure that everyone out there would certainly love this book and would feel for their characters. And that is what I feel will make this book, this story, more close to their hearts. And as everyone else, we would be waiting for the sequel very soon. You'll have to do a lot more hard work, because now the expectation would be next level. Thank you. Hearty congratulations to you. You've written an amazing book. And friends, you're all going to have a terrific time. You're just going to enjoy every bit, every page, every line, and the lives of every single characters that's there. And there's, everyone has a backstory. So you'll connect with every character. That's the best part. Thank you so much. And thank you for getting me here on board and to be talking to you. I am privileged. I am honored. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Anand, for those who are meeting you for the first time, you are a surgeon with a fine craft of the hand, and those fingers are also capable of writing words which also pierces the heart. I have read your book on poems, and your poetry, depending on the availability of time at your hand, if you could just give us a flavor of a couple of lines from one of your poems. And he's a fiction author, and he's got such a depth of understanding in the technology of writing. So if anybody is having a writer's block or a mental block anywhere in the process of writing, he's one man you can go to.
Thank you so much, sir. But today everything's about the muffled screams. So let it be muffled screams.
Sir, let the muffled screams bring some dusty memories back.
No, sir. No dusty memories. Today it's all about muffled screams. So we'll just have that.
Dr. Ahuja has written a terrific book on poetry. It's called Dusty Memories Unlimited. So if you can go to Amazon and get it, you'll thoroughly enjoy it.
And Dr. Ahuja, share your link if possible, so that.
Yes, sir. Dr. Ahuja, kindly share your link, sir.
Fair enough. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you for coming. And we have got another doctor with us. ये जो डॉक्टर है ये थोड़ा खास है, सब डॉक्टर्स खास है।
डॉक्टर को बताने से पहले, खास डॉक्टर को लाने से पहले, अगर मैं आपकी परमिशन चाहता हूँ to run a video on what people have said after reading this book.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please.
And I'll show you, a couple of such reviews from readers, one by one, not at one go, but yeah, one by one I'll show you. So you'll see why I want to show this is, you will see the span of the readership. What age, what genre, what profession, the people are loving this book. That is coming out of these. So, do I have your permission?
Yes, sir, please. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Nazia, a working executive with a creative bend of mind. I'm into freelance blogging and content writing. Few days back, I came across this beautiful suspense thriller novel, Muffled Streams of Buriganga. This novel is written by a budding yet seasoned author, Mr. Sthitaprajna Debadutta Kar. The main character of this novel is Adhyasha, an Indian journalist who is working on a murder mystery that took place in Jagannathpur in Bangladesh. And Mr. Arfin Ansari, a journalist from Bangladesh, was helping her with the evidence that he had about this case. Adhyasha was trying hard to reach him, but was unable to. After few days, she comes across a horrifying news in a Bangladeshi newspaper wherein she finds out that Arfin and his wife are murdered, and it is stated as burglary gone wrong. But Adhyasha was not convinced with this. She could see a lot more than that. A lot more that was there, not visible to the naked eyes. And she decided to find the truth and fight for justice for Arfin and his wife. So it's a beautifully narrated, plotted with strong characters. It has everything that can keep the reader's glued till the very last page. I had a very beautiful and interesting read, and I hope you too will love it. So please grab a copy of yours and experience this beautiful, thrilling novel. Thank you.
Now, this reader represented the youth of today, and she has beautifully brought across how did she find this book to be. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and those who enjoyed it, you can please type in awesome. Let us bring in some energy. Over to you, Satarus.
Again, as Mr. Punat Tripathi rightly said, there are glitches in technology that keeps on happening. I am getting muted by myself. Anyway, this time I will not mute myself anymore. So moving forward, like I also am looking for some energy in the chat box, because the chat box is going on empty. So kindly put your energy into the chat box. Let us see some noise. So taking it forward, we have got Dr. Abhishek Tripathi, who is a commendable poet, but इनका जो journey है, ये अजीबोगरीब journey है, because he started from being a songwriter, somebody who's a lyricist, who has written songs for movies, composed music, and then he has started writing books, he started writing poetry, and what a superb poet he is. डॉक्टर अभिषेक त्रिपाठी को मैंने रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि 2 छोटे-छोटे पोएम्स सुनाइए सर, ऐसा पोएम सुनाइए कि गांव की खुशबू हमें याद आ जाए. डॉक्टर त्रिपाठी प्लीज.
सबसे पहले तो सभी को नमस्कार, और एसडी कर साहब को बहुत बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं उनकी नई किताब के लिए. और मुझे लगता है कि जितना कुछ मैंने सुना किताब के बारे में, तो मैं बिल्कुल जल्दी से जल्दी इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहूँगा जैसे ही मेरे पास आएगी ये. और मैं थोड़ा सा पढ़ने के शौकीन, हार्ड कॉपीज लेके पढ़ने में मुझे ज़्यादा आनंद आता है, तो मैं इंतज़ार करूँगा कि मेरे पास हार्ड कॉपी जब पहुँचेगी तब मैं फिर उसको आनंद लूँगा उसका. बहरहाल, जो इस खुशी के मौके पे मैं अपनी छोटी सी कविताएं हैं, आदिवासी जीवन से जुड़ी हुई, आदिवासी लड़कियों और स्त्रियों से जुड़ी हुई 2 छोटी छोटी कविताएं हैं. दोनों के रंग बिल्कुल जुदा हैं. एक पहली कविता मैं जो आपको सुनाने जा रहा हूं वो गोदना एक चीज होती है, गोदना जिसको हम लोग आजकल टैटू लोग बोलते हैं। तो गोदने पे मैंने एक छोटी सी कविता लिखी है आदिवासी जीवन से जोड़ते हुए। आइए उसको एक सुनते हैं। गोदना गुदाए थे अपने शरीर पर मेरी दादी ने बड़े शौक से। गोदना गुदाए थे अपने शरीर पर मेरी दादी ने बड़े शौक से। बताया था मुझे बड़े चाव से उन्होंने एक बार, बताया था मुझे बड़े चाव से उन्होंने एक बार। देखता हूं मां के हाथों पर भी कुछ एक गोदने, देखता हूं मां के हाथों पर भी कुछ एक गोदने। वो कहती हैं जबरदस्ती बनवा दिए थे काकी ने, जबरदस्ती बनवा दिए थे काकी ने। उन्हें तो याद भी नहीं कि क्या थी उनकी उम्र उस वक्त। मेरी प्रेयसी नहीं जानती गोदना, मेरी प्रेयसी नहीं जानती गोदना। वो तो मरती है शकीरा के स्टाइलिश टैटू पर, वो तो मरती है शकीरा के स्टाइलिश टैटू पर। आदिवासी स्त्रियां नहीं रहती गोदने के बगैर, आदिवासी स्त्रियां नहीं रहती गोदने के बगैर। उनके यहां कहते हैं मरने के बाद तो सब यहीं रह जाना है, बस गोदना ही जाएगा उस पार। परंपरा से बढ़कर, परंपरा से बढ़कर गोदना उनके लिए है गहने की साख का आज भी। परंपरा से बढ़कर गोदना उनके लिए है गहने की साख सा आज भी। खिल उठता है उनका अंग अंग गोदने से, खिल उठता है उनका अंग अंग गोदने से। जब फूल और पत्तियां इतराती हैं बाहों में, जब बैठती हैं तितलियां उन पर, जब विराजमान होते हैं कुल देवी और देवता माथे और ग्रीवा पर। मान रखती हैं गोदने से अपने कुल का, मान रखती हैं गोदने से अपने कुल का। कौन सा श्रृंगार हो सकता है इतना जादुई, कौन सा श्रृंगार हो सकता है इतना जादुई। जब गुदवाती है वो गोदना खुद भी हो जाती हैं जादुई, जब वो गुदवाती है गोदना खुद भी हो जाती हैं जादुई। ये एक कविता है मेरी गोदने पर।
अब डॉक्टर साहब, आपने जो, आप जबलपुर से हैं और आपने मध्य प्रदेश की जो आदिवासी लोगों के जो गोदने की प्रथा है उसको इतनी बारीकी से आपने देखा, समझा और उसको इतनी सुंदरता से उसको शब्दों में बयान किया।
जी,
मतलब यही यही खासियत है आपकी कविताओं की, जो थोड़ा बहुत भी सभ्यता को और संस्कृति को देखता है और समझता है वो आपकी कविताओं में डूब जाता है।
जी। एक छोटी सी और कविता है। ये आदिवासी लड़की से ही जुड़ी हुई एक बहुत त्रासद घटना है। एक्चुअली आदिवासी क्षेत्रों में अक्सर देखा गया है कि ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। तो उस पे एक घटना थी, उसने मेरे को अंदर तक झकझोर दिया। उससे 4 लाइनें जो निकली मैं वो आपको सुना रहा हूं। कविता का शीर्षक है एक बिक चुकी श्रृंखला। चीख रहा है आज का अखबार, चीख रहा है आज का अखबार। मानव तस्करी के बाद बेची गई एक आदिवासी लड़की बार बार। मानव तस्करी के बाद बेची गई एक आदिवासी लड़की बार बार। जैसे जैसे बेच दिया एक मां और उससे अनगिनत जन्मों तक चलने वाली श्रृंखला को। जैसे बेच दिया एक मां और उससे अनगिनत जन्मों तक चलने वाली श्रृंखला को। क्या होता अगर वो ना बेची गई होती, क्या होता अगर वो ना बेची गई होती, अपने समाज में रहती, बुनती सपने घर परिवार के। अपने समाज में रहती, बुनती सपने घर परिवार के। जब अपहरण हुआ उसका, चीखें निकली थी उसकी भी। जब अपहरण हुआ उसका, चीखें निकली थी उसकी भी, जो खो गई आसमानों में कहीं। समाज खुद अभिशप्त हुआ, जो जोर देकर कहता है। समाज खुद अभिशप्त हुआ, जो जोर देकर कहता है कि सपने बुनो। आदिवासी लड़की अब खाक बुन सकेगी सपने। आदिवासी लड़की अब खाक बुन सकेगी सपने। धन्यवाद। ये दो कविताएं।
सर थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड इनफैक्ट मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ सबको कि ये जो लास्ट कविता थी आपकी, दैट वाज वेरी हार्ट रेंचिंग ऑफ कोर्स, और बहुत भीतर तक गई। और ये सपने की बात जब होती है ना, तो मुझे आप ही याद आते हैं, क्योंकि आप रोज सपने काटते हैं। लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, डॉक्टर अभिषेक त्रिपाठी हैज रिटन अ वंडरफुल कलेक्शन ऑफ पोएम्स कॉल्ड रोज सपने काटता हूँ। अभिषेक जी अपना लिंक आप डाल सकते हैं क्या चैट बॉक्स में?
बिल्कुल
डाल दीजिए।
बिल्कुल
एंड he is so supportive and such a wonderful person. He is always helping somebody or the other, especially me. और उनसे हेल्प लेना मतलब इट्स अ फोन कॉल अवे। तो कभी भी अगर किसी को हेल्प चाहिए, इफ एनीबडी वुड लाइक टू ट्रांसलेट दैट वर्क इन हिंदी, यू हैव गॉट डॉक्टर अभिषेक त्रिपाठी। डोंट लुक बियॉन्ड इट। थैंक यू डॉक्टर अभिषेक त्रिपाठी टू बी हियर।
शुक्रिया मुझे बुलाने के लिए और एक मौका देने के लिए कि आप सबके बीच में मैंने अपनी कुछ कविताएं रखी और इतने अच्छे कार्यक्रम में मैं शामिल हुआ। थैंक
यू डॉक्टर त्रिपाठी। यस कर साहब, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
सर यही बोलना चाहूँगा कि थैंक यू त्रिपाठी जी ये दो कविताओं के लिए, और बाकी सब जो वक्ता यहाँ पे थे जो मेरे बारे में इतने सारे अच्छे और एलिक्वेंट वर्ड्स बोले, उनको भी थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगा।
Thank you, Dr. Tripathi, once again, and thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. मैं डॉक्टर मिस्टर में कंफ्यूज कर रहा हूँ। I'd like you to call you doctor, but I'll stick to Mr. Thank you, Mr. Kar, for thanking people.